Uh,
I'm trying to collect a lot of, I've been in the business a long time, so I've been trying to collect pieces of my life that are on like video and stuff, and then I came across the Vanilla Sky premiere, and there's a interview with Tom Cruise and Penelope Cruz, right? And then lo and behold, you see me in the background. I recollected that premiere. And I don't know if you like that movie Vanilla Sky. Have you seen it? Any of you?
I've seen
No,
interviews of it. It didn't make any sense.
Well, it's okay. Well, if you're Cameron Crowe, I don't know why you'd make the movie because he grew up as a writer and he loves pop culture and rock music. Like he's like, he should make he like, he'd be great if he had made a movie like Nashville, Robert Altman, which is a sort of potpourri of the Nashville roadie music scene. And so like Vanilla Sky is like this very Kubrick Solaris type of intellectual movie, and I don't know why it's sort of that's when he falls off, right? I mean, because what did he do after Vanilla Sky? Jessica, you're the expert on Cameron Crowe, so I'm just
He
so
did Elizabethtown, We Bought a Zoo, Aloha, and he did a show called Roadies.
okay. So I don't know, Lauren. Do you know? I haven't a clue. I know, and then Aloha wasn't that was after the what's the Alexander Payne movie, right? There were two movies shot in Hawaii. Um,
Descendants, and then uh, Aloha.
right?
uh,
Were they the same year or almost?
No, Descendants was 2011.
Okay.
it,
Because
it,
I was thinking like, okay, then why would he do a Hawaiian movie? Like,
Well, he originally was going to do a volcano movie, and I heard about him doing a volcano movie in 2008 and seemed like Joe versus the volcano. Then he made some changes.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, you take the first part of his life, take the books and all that stuff, and the writing, and luckily, who was his editor at the Rolling Stone when he was there? Any idea?
Harry Wong, whatever. I forget his name.
Yeah. So he got it. So he as a kid, at that time they encouraged kids to be these wonder kids. Like Spielberg got to just be a fixture at Universal Studios, and so Cameron got to write all this stuff. So his knowledge is like all about music. It's not really a
Knowledge
filmic.
about music is how you describe my knowledge about movies. I just want to tell you because it's an upcoming project. I don't want people to think I'm a celebrity. That I just want to tell you about my Barbie movie. It's an interview film, which is different than a documentary, less mainstream than a documentary, where you actually see the on-screen interviewer and I'm on camera interviewing people with Barbies. It's a lot of fun, and I look at the Barbie toys. That's all I have to say. And I hope people love it. It's for the whole family.
okay.
Barbie. So we're talking. So what do you say, Barbie? Are we talking sort of a realization of Barbie? Or are we talking Barbie dolls like a superstar? The
No, just me interviewing people about Barbie dolls and which ones they had and which ones they like and their experiences with the Barbie dolls.
Mm.
Well, but what period do you cover it? Like, because they change the different flavors of.
Depends, like the older person or the older people who I interview talk about Barbies I'm not familiar with.
Right, right. Because I was wondering, for example, I mean, I don't know how deep into the history do you go to, like, but like, if you lived in Greece, what type of Barbie do you see? If you lived in Mongolia, what Barbie do you see?
I'm
Like,
not into that, but that's a good idea. I did some research. It was very fun. And I have some of my old Barbies that my mom had when she was a kid.
mm.
And I just want to tell you that I think I did a good job interviewing people, but when Cameron Crowe was interviewing Tom Petty, he did an even better job.
Now, what year? That was before he did. No, he had written Fast Times right in the magazine by that time, right? By that
I
Tom
just want to
Petty was.
show you something.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to tell you that during the end, I have something I want to talk about for the last 5 minutes, okay? Okay?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Here, do you see
So,
Fast Times book?
there you go. Oh, that's the
Yeah,
first. Is that the first edition?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's nice. Who published it, by the way? Can you just look on the side of that
Simon and Susher, whatever it
Simonson?
is.
Okay, okay,
And here's a
okay.
picture of young Cameron Crowe. Can you see him?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I was not allowed to see the movie when it came out. even though even though my mom allowed me to see all that jazz of all movies, I wasn't allowed to see Fast Times because this idea that it was I don't want to say that it was corrupting minors, but there's a lot of sexuality in that movie, I guess. You could say it's pretty frank, right? So I went on to see it. So like when did you see it?
I was 19 when I saw it, and one film called Dazed and Confused was inspired by Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And I saw Dazed and Confused. I made a film like that, and I consider Fast Times even more grown up than Dazed and Confused. How old were you when Fast Times came out?
Okay, so remember, I think I told you a little bit that Fast Times was part of it was shot at my the city of Torrance where I grew up in, and then the wildlife was completely shot there at the mall, Del Amo Mall. So I was 10. I was 10, 9 or 10.
I was about
and
15
I
or 16.
you're 50. Yeah, and I never saw either of them in a theater. I saw them on we had this channel called On TV. There was HBO at the time, but here locally in Los Angeles, we had like On TV and Select TV where it's just this little box. It's like a Roku box, but it had one button. It was green, and you press the green button, and you watched movies all night. So, and that's how we saw Fast Times. Like maybe I was like 12, maybe 12. Yeah, something like that.
I'll tell you some stuff I'm surprised that I saw at a young age. When I was 9, I saw my stepmother as an alien.
Okay, well that's
That's fun.
PG. Wait, was that a PG-13 movie?
Yes.
Okay,
Fun.
okay.
That,
He-
that,
he-
that,
he-
that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna go sequentially because Cameron, you like his work a lot. But one thing I did want to mention is this is obviously before your time, but when the videotape of Fast Times first came out, the videotape release and the laser disc, they changed the music. Did you know that? Because
Yeah.
when they made
I've
Fast
heard
Times.
stories about the music changing.
Well, yeah, because they couldn't get the rights when they made the movie. They didn't realize, oh, well, there's a videotape market. Let's get the rights for the music to where we showed on videotape. So TV they did because TV was a thing then. So TV version has all the music. But
I'm
I'm curious.
surprised because the guy who made it was a music promoter.
Right, right, right. But and what are the famous songs in there? So like, like a Martin Scorsese movie like Goodfellas, I can't even imagine what the music licensing that would have been like probably $3-4 million on music alone for Goodfellas. Something like Fast Times, they're probably like, okay, we give us 100,000, and they probably thought, okay, well, we don't know what videotape is. What is this? But my question was, would you happen to know which songs were missing and what they were replaced with?
I don't know that because the version I watched was the 1998 version, the
On video.
DVD.
Okay, so then you probably saw the way. Okay, Warren, would you have know the answer to this question? Because it's just like it was put out by Universal on VHS, and it's just like Blood Simple, which I worked on. They changed the last song. It was supposed to be they changed. It was supposed to be same old song by the Four Tops, and they changed it to Sugar Pie Honey Bunch. So those are similar, but in Fast Times, each song is specific, right? Like she's got to be somebody's baby, right? So like they would think that'd be one that was taken away and swapped to something else for the videotape release.
The Cars and the Go-Go song, the Cars moving stereo. I think maybe
Oh,
that's
that's
not
right. That's right. 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 Moving in stereo. That's right. Yes. You forget all these things. I got to pull up the discography for that movie. What else was in there? I want to
the
say
Go-Go.
tonight's the night, but no, tonight's the night was Private Lessons, right? So
The Go-Go's We Got the Beat.
oh, is that in Fast Times?
Yeah. Well, near the beginning of the movie, but
Oh, okay. See more. Like, and I've seen the movie twice. I've seen it once on TV and then once in the theater 10 years ago, actually. So that was actually the first time I really. And And I thought she did a great job. They gave her a lot of leeway, and I wondered how close she worked with Cameron on, like, was he there on the set every
He
day?
was on the set.
And, you know, was he listening to her? Because he hadn't made a movie, and, like, was she, you know, like,
She made a good short film, Getting It Over With. I forget what it was called.
right, 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 right. Um, You know, because a lot of it has that clueless kind of feel. It's got that whole, you know, but it really captures, and you don't see a lot of movies today. This is where, and this is sort of when, see, what I like about these movies that start in like 81, 82, these teen films, they evolve into like 16 Candles, and they evolve into Some Kind of Wonderful, and they evolve into St. Elmo's Fire, right? So like you were growing up and sort of approximating their age, at least I was, as these movies were growing older. Although I wasn't a teen when Fast Times came out, but certainly St. Elmo's, we were feeling, you know, they were slightly older than me, but you were feeling, you know, and you don't get those kind of movies anymore where there's a generation that goes to see these and they're growing up sort of as these
Now,
movies
here's what I don't
are
like about
maturing.
them. They waste their time on social media.
Right, right, right. You know?
Here's something interesting about music. When I was doing my short film, uh, and it was stop motion, and I couldn't afford music, I was looking at the scores of early Miramax films before they're bought by Disney, comparing ones they made and the ones they distributed to see how good the music was, because they always have good music no matter how good the film
Mhm.
is.
Yeah,
And right
yeah. Like,
away, their first film,
what's an example? Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting.
for their first film, good music that they distributed. In the first film, they didn't distribute good music. It's so amazing how even today in their show, The Gentleman, they have good music.
But what do you mean by their first movie had good music? You mean Miramax's first movie, or what do you?
Yeah, just from a trailer. I haven't seen the movie. It's The Burnin', a slasher film. It had good music.
Oh, yeah, yeah. And then I think their second movie was The Secret Policeman's Other Ball, wasn't it, Warren? Miramax, that was like one of
They
their.
only did
This is.
concerts, but I'm paying attention to ones that aren't concerts because, of course, concert films have good music.
Well, you know, Harvey Weinstein and the brother, that's how they started. They were concert promoters and producers. And so there's no question that they came across Cameron, or they knew him well, but they started out doing concerts and doing well. Then they went off to movies. And that's why The Burning, yeah, you're right. The Burning, I don't even know what else is in that whole period right up to Sex, Lies, and Videotape, which was, I think that was the kind of their first hit when they were proving themselves, you know. Um, but then back to Cameron. So Fast Time leads to Wildlife, which is a flop. So what do you think didn't work on the Wildlife?
They didn't work on the wildlife is the director. A director got fired and they replaced it with somebody else.
Who was the director on that?
With a director like knowing what his name was,
Yeah, what's his name?
Michael Dinner. He directed uh Heaven Help Us.
Oh, I remember that
And
movie.
Andrew McCarthy. Starring Andrew McCarthy.
Was that by Thorn EMI Video, Warren? Was that on Thorn EMI?
Yeah, it was made by uh HBO, which didn't have the right personality to make that movie.
Right, that makes HBO stuff went out through Thorn EMI. I'm talking about the VHS company. I talk in terms of like a lot of distribution stuff, by the way. So,
Like here,
yeah,
there are other films that are like Heaven Help Us that I like better, like Pretty Smart, which was one of Patricia Arquette's first films, and the Farley Brothers film Outside Providence.
right. I've only seen parts of Wildlife. I don't even. It just didn't. It wasn't one that really grabbed me at the time. If anything, what grabbed me was like classical movies. But that place where the donut shop is, I guess who works in that? There's a character that works in the donut shop in that movie, and that's the donut shop that I'd always go to after school. By the way, and I do have a weird story to tell about that donut shop and the movie, but not for this podcast. So,
Okay, but uh, and the Heaven Help Us guy, he was fired, and the producer took over as director. It should have been good because it was people hanging out, but it didn't have the goodness of Fast Times. The reason why Fast Times was good is the characters hanging out and Phoebe Cates and Jennifer Jason Leigh's friendship, and also Spicoli. He was so funny. He was the first of his kind. He kind of reminds me of a Dude character.
I'm trying to think. So, so a lot of that movie is in the writing. It's in capturing that whole feeling of, discovering life and school and relationships and all that. And all that dialogue is pretty frank dialogue. I wouldn't say for its time, but it was frank dialogue, the way the female characters speak to each other, and the interaction with the male. I'm wondering how much of that is lost on today's audience.
Well,
Where it's just like it's all out there in the open. You know what I mean? It's all crude. Where this is more of like a real down to, like, I don't know. I'm just saying is like I don't know if a generation today can relate to this kind of movie really, apart from the music.
Sam, I can relate to that kind of movie. Maybe it was from watching Dazed and Confused and having Dazed and Confused make me watch a movie. So I was surprised I was able to see Fast Times. Other films I'm surprised I was able to see was uh, Clerks and Pulp Fiction.
In a cinema, or you saw it on VHS?
I more was a home viewer on DVD, and so here's how I watched Pulp Fiction. I was 17, my sister was 15, and my dad was okay with watching it, and then my mom came in the room. It was the needle scene, and it was very creepy. And
Oh
here's
yeah,
another
yeah,
thing
yeah, yeah.
I'm surprised I was able to watch. Last Picture Show, and I was 16 and my sister was 17. And here's my sister when she was watching the Last Picture Show with Jeff Bridges. The Big
It's a good movie.
Lebowski.
That's a good movie. Well then, so you picked the next Cameron Crowe movie to talk about. Yeah, I mean, in terms of Fast Times, like I think that Universal said, "Hey, we made so much money on Private Lessons, which I released on Blu-ray." And that's a great soundtrack, by the way. And that one also had music. I think "Lost in Love" by by the Warren on the video version of Private Lessons. What gets swapped out? "Tonight's the Night." I think that, yeah. And then "Lost in Love," I think, no, that stays in. I think "Tonight's the Night" gets swapped out or something like that. So, um, but anyway, what's a Cameron Crowe like transitional movie between like that music world to the more mature?
Well, I think when I see Cameron Crowe do an interview film, which is really the hardest thing anybody can do, which was Heartbreakers Beach Party, makes me think of my transition because I did interview films in school where I was on camera interviewing people. And after that, I learned how to do interactions when I directed actors. And when I was in a film called Night We Met, it taught me how to interact with the actors.
And but let me get this straight though. Let's okay. So Cameron Crowe's in your top what? He's in your top 5 directors or top 10 directors, would you say,
No, he's in my top 10 screenwriters because he's
writers? Okay.
written more films.
Right. But you come from the generation that is after. Well, technically, you're in his contemporary generation, but the stuff that the watershed marks are 2 generations before you, I think, right? So, um, and on the top of the fact that you haven't seen them in a theater, right? Any of them,
Uh,
and it's a different experience.
yeah, and when you see uh, Heartbreakers Beach Party, you see Cameron Crowe as a warm interviewer, not a Morgan Spurlock or Michael Moore type, just the boy next door. He's 25 and has all the charisma that I don't have when I'm interviewing people about Barbies.
Well, that's I see him. Okay, now, like, yeah, I think he's a terrific writer. I see him more as like a documentarian, like he's documenting the life of the music world and the people, and he's documenting it just like Werner Herzog does it for the world of nature. Like Grizzly Man and even
There are
Fitzcarraldo.
certain
Like,
documentaries that don't even seem like documentaries. Like one about Quentin Tarantino, a British one, Quentin Tarantino, Hollywood's Wonder Boy, because everything they're saying is exaggerated, that you don't think, oh, I'm not watching a documentary. And another one that doesn't seem like
Yeah.
a documentary is
Mhm.
Project Grizzly, because how could a guy have a suit to protect himself from a grizzly bear?
Was it wrong with documentary?
You don't believe they're documentaries?
Well, you know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, like, for example, is like you take the music world to Cameron, and that's what the world of nature is to Werner Herzog. So so he's documenting all of that, and he sees, and he's a part of it, whether he wants to or not. Like Werner's a part of it in this rainforest that he loves so much, and he's a part of it. He's just as much a part of it as the insects. As Cameron is a part of that music world, and
I
so.
use the
Something
term
interesting.
interview film because it's more simple, but it's a confusing term.
Sure.
Oh, right.
I kind of understand what you're talking about. I know I know what you mean. I can't articulate it, but I know what you mean. So this is why I'm very perplexed. So why it sort of seems like he 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 does all he can, and it culminates in Almost Famous, and then that's it.
It's a real life Almost Famous. That's what Heartbreakers Beach Party was.
Okay. But I mean, why do you think he wants to different, take different viewpoints, or why do you think he wants to take different tangents than he does like a Vanilla Sky, or he does an Aloha? Like what do you think the reason is? And those are movies that are not really music centric at all.
Well, because
Right.
he can have his range. He can do something different.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not
But
bad
here's how I
mouthing.
describe his films.
I'm not bad mouthing the movie, but well, I mean, the original Vanilla Sky is quite good. Now, my second question. This is really off on tangent. Why would Penelope Cruz want to play the same role twice? That doesn't make like.
Because she's with the #1 American movie star.
Yeah, I get
How
it.
can
I
you
get it.
resist Tom Cruise?
I get it. I get it. I just remember. I mean, I have a fondness for that movie, but that movie's like it's in the hands of the wrong director. And at the premiere, Paramount, you could tell Paramount was very scared, and they brought out all these people like in full force. So like William Friedkin, I mean, he was married to Sherry Lansing, who ran Paramount. So he was there. I talked to him. They had just everybody in full force, all these celebrities, and like because I
That
think
seems interesting.
they
The
were
woman who
and people
plays
walked out. People walked out of the movie, by the way, so at the premiere.
interesting.
Oh,
The woman who plays Ione Skye's mom in Say Anything. I think she looks like Sherry Lanson.
Oh, is that right? Okay. We jumped over to see anything. We had to go back. We had to go back.
But I want to go back to Heartbreakers Beach Party. It was one of the first bromances where you got to see Cameron Crowe interview a rock star, charm a rock star, and have a bromance.
Warren, have you seen that one?
no. But did George Clooney appear in a Cameron Crowe movie?
No.
Oh, I thought George Clooney appeared in some kind of Hawaiian movie.
Descendants, we said that
Well, wait.
earlier.
That's what I mean. So it's like, why would you like? It's like, why would you do like two Hawaiian? I'm not saying they were the same year, so that's totally my error. But why would why have these two? I don't even know if they're thematically similar, but one would say from the marketing that they're both similar in terms of thematics. Like why would you? You'd be like, why do you want two Capote movies, two Truman Capote movies the same year? It's the same kind of thing. So I
Right.
don't know. Maybe Hawaii had the.
Animated movie similar at
Really,
one point.
I couldn't tell you. I mean, isn't Alexander Payne though from Hawaii? So at least there was some affinity to that subject. Whereas Cameron's not from Hawaii. There's no connections. And wasn't he being criticized for casting on that? Is like an Asian girl, or wasn't there something?
She was a small percent Asian.
Right, or something like that. Yeah. So
Oh,
I mean, did you like the movie?
I have not seen the movie. This is the only one I have not seen.
Okay.
I like talking about it.
okay.
Well, I mean, okay, so you take the next subject you want to talk about. I want to talk about Say Anything, but when we're ready to get to that, you go. But you could talk about whatever
So
else.
again, Heartbreaker's Beach Party is Cameron Crowe having a bromance with Tom Petty. Tom Petty working on an album that didn't really work too well, and Cameron Crowe's just the sweetest person you see, and his performance is better than a lot of performances in scripted films. And it's amazing to see a young guy really smart, because a lot of people say that I'm really smart. A lot of the kids, and I was a very popular kid, were amazed at my movie knowledge.
Gotcha,
I'm a,
gotcha.
And
I'm,
you get one set scene where Cameron Crowe and Tom Petty are shooting air guns and they're looking at photos.
I'm kind of a fan of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
What do you say?
I'm a fan of, I'm kind of a fan of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers.
Yo love Tom Petty Heartbreakers Beach Party.
Oh, okay.
And you'll get
Well,
pretty jealous of Cameron Crowe.
Okay.
so the thing is that he's always had not always, but he has like in at least let's say in the first era of his work, he's got somebody that personifies him. So he's got so and so and Almost Famous, right? And Fast Times, I think he's spread across all the different characters and so forth. But who personifies him in like the new ones? Like it's certainly not like the Tom Cruise character isn't. I mean, with any stretch of the imagination, it's not Cameron.
Not like when I write, I don't like the characters to be based on me, because I like to have people more escape, and uh if it's based on me, they'll less escape. But when I did my stupid, bad, Dazed and Confused like film, the characters were all based on the people who I had in the film.
Okay, okay. And did
Uh,
you did you own the cassette or the CD of Dazed and Confused also like the soundtrack? Because like what was great is that at that time you could but you rent the video and then you get the CD or the record or the tape and there were multiple components. Now I don't even know what you own. You don't even own a movie anymore. Like it's all you're owning air. Like right, I don't know. Right? You can't. I mean, I guess. I
and
mean,
then
I
Right.
have.
also, uh, in Heartbreaker Beach Party, there's a touching scene where Cameron Crowe tells Tom Petty, "Stars need privacy." It really warms my heart. And after Heartbreaker's Beach Party, you can see why there's a lot of hugging between the guys and girls in the film, and a lot of hangout scenes in his films. And after that, Tom Petty and Cameron Crowe became good friends. And at the end, uh, Tom Petty tells Cameron Crowe that he has a good time hanging out with him.
What year is that film from, by the way? I mean, I'm very bad at this. What what year is that from?
Good
It
question.
was from 1983. It was buried by the network because the networks
Okay,
don't want interview films where people are being so nice to the entertainer. And now it was like re-released, and they added new footage, and you had Cameron Crowe and Tom Petty's daughter talking, and he was wearing a Spicoli t-shirt. And tell you
I
what's
got it.
cool, because Tom Petty wrote a song for Cameron Crowe, "I'm Stupid."
Got it. Got it.
And I
Yeah.
call it one of the first bromances.
And he was okay. So he was 30. Is 30. He was 30, right?
No, he was
So
25 when he
25.
directed it, but
Okay.
actually, I'm not sure how much he directed it. There were other people who were directing. He was just hired to interview Tom Petty.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, so it's interesting. So I don't know, like, what, by the way, what was the school that he was documenting for Fast Times? Do you
Good
know
question.
where?
I don't want to know, and I wanted to respect the students. I don't want to know, because I've heard it's weird when had the students tell me what it was like.
Okay, because I'm just wondering if he ever, because I'm from Torrance. I'm born and raised from Torrance, and that's where they shot, like I said, parts of the film. They shot at the wildlife. And they also shot like Buffy and Beverly Hills 90210. Like my school was the Beverly Hills 90210 school, and the Buffy.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah, so yeah, yeah. So Buffy and 90210 paid for our theater department's curtains, because I was producing the theater there, or helping to produce. But
What
um,
plays did you produce?
I did just the usual, Annie, Tea House of the August Moon, La Comète
Wow.
Angel. That was by Faulkner. What else did we do? We did Crimes of the Heart. Crimes of the Heart. Um, something. There's Hay Fever. Was Hay Fever? I can't remember, but it was all the all the usual ones. But anyway, they came in and they were shooting they were shooting like for the whole year at our school, and they bought these like $100,000 curtains. It was amazing, like red velvet, and
I say it's kind of more lively than the ones they did in my school. I grew up in a suburb of Boston, the same school Taylor Schilling went to.
Okay. Oh, did you study acting, or you studied writing, or filmmaking?
I I didn't I mainly from the acting book. I've written since I'm 7, so that was my study.
Okay.
And watching
And
movies is a good study.
but I
And I
mean,
read the Stella Adler book. It taught me a lot.
but there's a technicality that you're partial to. There's the technical stuff that you're partial to, like stop motion. So what interested you in stop motion? Like, did you grow up watching the Ray Harryhausen stuff? Like
Well,
the Sinbad movie.
uh because of you know how like the Barbie movie with Margot Robbie was popular, and they also had Oppenheimer the same day.
Yeah.
I Because of that I decided, oh, if they had Barbenheimer, it's going to be more successful for my Barbie movie, so I added a stop motion with it.
But I mean, did you study? Have you studied the technique of stop motion, or you're just saying that's the kind of look that you want?
Well, my Barbie movie's not stop motion, but I just did it just because I want to be the new Barbenheimer craze.
Gotcha. I got you. Okay.
Sounds good
Well,
idea.
I personally like stop motion. I like models. I like seeing the joints and then doing the joints and then doing each frame per second for times 24. Now, obviously, you put in the AI and it does it for you in 10 seconds. But there was a time it was great. Like you watch even like Star Wars, because I was watching the making of Episode 4 again. So I like that movie, and it's amazing. And even Episode 5, it's amazing how they did the joints of the AT-ATs and all that stuff, and they tried to figure out like, okay, the AT-AT is based upon kind of like an elephant, so an elephant needs 3 firm foundations or it falls over, so we got to make the AT-AT like that. Let's put the joints on the legs here. It's pretty amazing stuff. So I didn't know if you it gave Barbie more
I've seen
joints to
Gumby. I
move
liked
around.
Gumby, and I really love
Yeah,
the Gumby movie. I liked how
right.
Gumby was in a band.
Gotcha. Yeah, Gumby's fun. Gumby. What else did Art Clokey do? Uh, I'm
Nothing
trying
I
to
can't,
think.
I can't remember anything.
Yeah, I want to say he did
That's it.
Davy. I want to say he did Davy and Goliath, but I didn't know they didn't. It wasn't Davy and Goliath that show, but it was a bit.
No interest to me.
Oh,
What did Davy and Goliath?
Yeah, I just can't. Even when I'm kind of conservative, I'm not into like religious stuff. I did like an animated Noah's Ark film that I saw.
Okay, but I mean, I'm not saying to appreciate Davy and Goliath, you need to be,
I just like the animation. It's pretty
yeah,
cool.
that's what I'm saying. You take a look at it from the point of view of a stop motion, because it's pretty cool stuff, that stop motion stuff, the way they do it, and it's an art that's gone now because they're not doing stuff. They're not even doing models anymore, small models.
I liked one of the Wallace and Gromit shorts. I forget which one I liked.
Probably Creature Comforts. That's the famous one.
I
Remember
love
the
that show, but I liked
oh,
one of the Wallace Gromit ones. I still can't forget it. Now let's get to Say Anything.
anything. Okay, so 1989, I'm in high school. I'm trying to, let's see, what's my involvement with that movie? Okay, so I started this movie club at my high school, and I was trying to raise money to show Say Anything. So they gave me a poster. There was a company in Chicago that if you had a school, you could rent any movie you wanted, and they send you 16 prints. So Say Anything was one of the ones I tried to raise money for. Didn't I couldn't get enough. So I ended up showing like I think it was something ridiculous. It was something like I ended up showing like Psycho. Can you imagine that? Like instead of Anything, I showed Psycho because that's all I could raise the money for by selling donuts. Because each movie you had to pay like $200 for, and we had a big screen in the auditorium, and you bring out the print and it, the 16 millimeter. Um, but anyway, that's that. Okay, so I like the movie a lot. Uh, that is the movie that introduced me to Ricky Don't Lose That Number. Can you believe that?
What number are you saying?
Ricky Don't Lose That Number. John Mahoney sings that song to Ione, I think, in the car, right, Warren? And have you seen
Yeah.
anything? Yeah,
No, I didn't
Ricky
see the
don't.
movie, but
Yeah, we can't,
sounds
we
like
can't, we
you
can't,
see
we
the
can't,
dance.
we can't repeat lyrics on YouTube, so because it's copyright. But Ricky Don't Lose That Number that's the movie like like boom. it's
You
sort of,
see
it's
the dance.
it's sort of like the movie Short Time with Dabney Coleman. That's how I first heard "Roll with It, Baby" by Steve Winwood. Like so.
I learned about In Your Eyes from a special about the greatest love songs. That was before I saw Say Anything.
In Your Eyes appears. Where did that go? Yeah, I was trying to think the other day. What's the ending of Say Anything?
Then when he holds a boombox,
No. The end credits are "We Did It All for Love," right? What's the
Nancy
song?
Wilson, Cameron Crowe's then wife.
Yeah, what's it called? It's called "All for Love," right, or something? Or what's the end title song with the credits coming up at the end of the movie?
I don't know. But what I like about Cameron Crowe movies is his films are heartfelt. As someone who doesn't like heartfelt films like Fargo or Reservoir Dogs, I like how heartfelt his films are. Nowadays, they make those romances boring and you don't even care about the characters. And they're not as good as they used to. They're so bad that even a local community college version of Fresh Horses was even better than the ones they make today.
Yeah, I think he captured really well. I think it's a good companion film to 16 Candles. I think he captured the feeling of a girl's angst going through this period and what should she do, and how does she evolve from this period in her life to maturity. Yeah, I like it a lot. And literally it's like her maturity throughout the movie, and it doesn't end. Like the movie ends when the light goes off, and then she's reached her goal, at least for where this movie wants to take you. Like because the airplane light turns off at the end of the movie, right? It goes ding, and then
Well,
the
always
credits.
has airplane scenes.
Yeah, and then the credits come on, and so then she reached her goal. So part of it was like graduating. Wasn't she valedictorian? Like and then she
Yeah.
meets him. Then she meets him, falls in love. They connect. She's got a relationship, and then she flies the plane. That's a pure plot if I ever saw one with a resolution.
It's weird. The uh, Roy Dobler character reminds me of a kid, a boy in my school who was just such a good friend and such a good friend to the girls.
I think that where did they shoot that movie? Was that in I don't know where they that was back east, wasn't it?
Wasn't it in Seattle?
Well, I know Singles was Seattle, or Singles was Portland. I think. I think. Yeah. But I mean, I think he captured the angst. It's a very understated. It's an understated movie. I'm so happy it was a sleeper film, but it's really like it was the same year. 80. It was 88 or 89. Warren, you're good at the
89.
89. Yeah. So
probably
it's
not
like
even know.
yeah. So tell me two big films from '89 that it was up against.
Batman, Lethal Weapon 2,
Oh, I thought that was 90. Was that '89? Okay.
Yes, it was
Batman.
89.
Okay. Okay. So it's up against those. It's sort of under at that time, like Fox was doing these sort of like mid-range movies that they were like, okay, we make some money in video, we'll play a few theaters, and Say Anything was that, and it sort of really it kept that genre going. Um, But then that genre ends like about 90, 91, 92, right? These sort of like these teen movies that become like 20 something movies in the end, right? Well, no,
Yeah,
singles was 92, 95,
two. What
92,
what
yeah.
does mid-range movies mean?
Oh, mid-range means like it's not a block, like it's not a roller coaster movie where they're spending 30. Well, at that time the big movie was like $50 million. So so Say Anything was probably like a $10 million movie. It was like the same category as like when I said Short Time, the Dabney Coleman, that was like a small, or Mannequin, right? They're
Yeah,
on the
but
same.
where do you put Attack of the Killer Tomatoes compared to like Say Anything?
I got the Hill of Tomatoes, the original movie.
Yeah. Do you not call
Right.
it mid-range?
I hate that movie. No, no, no. I mean that's totally different. That's like going to. I mean that's like I don't know. Uh, no, no. I mean it's not even apples and oranges. It's one was made for drive-ins. One was made as a B movie. One was intentionally supposed to be a B movie. It was not financed by a studio. Say Anything was a studio, and they were just on a small budget. That's all. Um, and if you look in the 80s, like I even think stuff like Jagged Edge wasn't considered a big budget movie.
I'll tell you what's weird. Sometimes when the major studios make films like Singles or Bottle Rocket, they never make it that the major studios make those films, but they actually do.
Yeah, yeah, Battle Rocket's a good choice. That's a good choice of like it being sort of a mid budgeted film. Yeah, definitely, definitely. And yeah, and then over the time, like like I know the whole backlash with Weinstein, but what did there's a lot of that stuff that he was really responsible for bringing out, you know, uh, you know, to new audiences. Um, obviously the financing and the behind the scenes was very murky, but you need a studio head that's a visionary, and they don't have that today. I mean, they're all gone. So
Here, I need to say it. Here's one studio head that's charming like Weinstein. That's probably the new Weinstein, but will not get written bad stuff about. Uh, is Cameron Crowe's son. I saw a short film he was assistant director to, and it wasn't too good, but there are a lot of worse short films. And he's been to concerts since he was 0, and he has a good future ahead of him. And he's a charming podcaster, good on a Dungeon and Dragon show.
well, I mean, the question is, what is the studio head today anymore? Because like AI is deciding what movies to make. AI is deciding, like, okay, like you could put into AI now as a studio head, like if I have $10 million to spend, what kind of movie should I make? It'll tell you, like, make a movie like Wicked and have this and have that, have 10 songs and have this K-pop element. And that. So what is a studio head these days?
What
Studio head
do
was
I
like.
do for movies? Because the major studios don't have original ideas, I try to figure out about films that are mainstream but not made by the big studios like Wise Guy, Christmas, and I look at the films from Grindstone, Saban, Bonded Media.
Oh, well, I mean, listen, Grindstone, they're guys that have been around a long time, just like me. So, like, but there aren't any new people. I mean, maybe it'll be you. Maybe you'll say, "Hey, this is such a great idea. I want to do all these." But what's her name? The Annapurna, uh, Megan Ellison. I mean, she had all the right ideas, all the right movies to back. It just is there was just not a market for you know um for very thought-provoking movies, and that's why her brother does so much better, because he made the Bond movies, and now he runs Paramount, right? So, um, what can I say? But you have YouTube, so there's nothing stopping you from making a movie this week and putting it out next week. Who's stopping you? And you can compete against the studio movies. That's what's great. Like, you're on the same channel, same
I'll tell you
platform.
what's cool. It used to be when there was a low budget film, it was mainstream, like Whale of a Tale. Nobody hear about it. Now people are starting to hear about low budget films that actually are mainstream.
Yeah. Will of Taylor. It's funny how all this stuff from my past comes back. Like Will of Taylor was shot at the Marineland where I grew. That's also in South Bay. And at the bottom, like you had to drive all the way bottom, and then that's where they shot the movie. But you know the movie well, right? The credits, how they sort of fly like a serial, like an old. Lucky Brown, the director of that film, claims that George Lucas saw that and used the same effect for Star Wars. You know how it has the words going like this.
That
Like
was a long time ago.
yeah, it has like this. It goes like that. And that's what he did. But I mean, Lucas was ripping it off from the serials like Zorro, right? They had the little crow at the beginning, like episode one. Do 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 do. Remember that, Warren? So,
I'll tell you what's weird about
Right,
Star
right, right.
Wars. Since I was rated a 7, I should have liked it, but I didn't like it because of my experience right at a young age. I knew the dialogue was bad. I just like the Ewok movies because bears rock.
yeah, but they changed the song. Why did they do that? Did you know that they changed the song?
And of all the
Didn't know
short films I've seen, uh the worst short film I've ever seen was directed by George Lucas.
Yeah, talking about the student version of THX 1138, right? Not
I
the
forget
student.
what it was.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah,
that.
I mean, I don't know how much you've seen on early 1940s stuff, but I mean, I love how he brought the serial back to Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark, because that's exactly what they were. Every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes was a cliffhanger. You can jump in the middle of the movie and they tell you what's going on.
Lucas has good ideas, but they're all about the special effects and not about the direction. And he directed a reality film about the car, and it was a real reality film, not a fake reality film. And reality films aren't really direct, and even when documentaries are nonfiction, they're more direct, and especially the ones where you have actors playing roles.
Well, I mean, you're half right. I think American Graffiti is a fantastic movie. There's no special effects in that. I mean, I love that movie and I love the soundtrack to it. It evokes everything from that 50s time and the uncertainty of going into Vietnam and all, well, and actually there was not during Vietnam, but what's his name? Who's the guy that dies in Vietnam? Oh, Paul Lamont, they say, yeah. So it's transitioning into adulthood and where they went. I think it's a fantastic movie, but I mean, but Lucas is the first to tell you that he'd rather not work with actors. He'd rather capture their likeness and make a movie and just program them and like in a computer, like in Looker. Remember the movie Looker with Albert Finney? So yeah, I mean,
I just don't want to see Tron. It looks so painful, and I love Jeff Bridges. I loved him in Big Lebowski, and I loved him when he hosted the rock and roll special.
Ron, how'd that come in the mix?
Because Looker reminds me of Tron.
Looker did? Okay, 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 okay. Yeah, I've been
I don't think I
well.
like Tron that much.
Yeah, Tron. Yeah, I was looking at the making of that again the
For
other
the
night.
video game.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind that at that time, what was a hard drive? A hard drive was like this big, and it was only like 1 megabyte. So just to get that movie done was that was pretty amazing. I mean, even just to get the Star Wars stuff done was amazing. So, uh, but we're not wrapped up on Say Anything. What are your closing things on Say Anything then,
How
if
many
you want
minutes
to?
do we have left?
Oh, we have been on like 20 minutes. I don't know. So whenever we pan out, we're very leisure here. I'm just sometimes we'll just
Free
call
form.
people.
You can say talk whenever you want.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's all it is. And if
I'm just having so much fun.
oh,
What I liked about Say Anything was the friendship that John Cusack had with Lily Tyler and Pamela Adden and Adie Brooks. I liked the friendship. They were pretty good friends, and the characters kind of reminded me of me. And I liked the Joe character, and I liked his friendship with Joe. And I liked them hanging out, and you see them hanging out is similar to the scenes in Heartbreakers Beach Party where they're hanging out.
I forget about Lily Tyler. Yeah, yeah. Something up here. I was thinking like that. That's in this is actually an extension of that area where Mask or, that movie Mask, and then even like Back to the Future, because this is like going back. This is like getting to that next transitional period that starts with Say Anything, and then I don't know. Does he? Then he doesn't get like every step of the way goes along from high school up to adulthood. But then, it, are there any movies that cover like marriage or anything in his mature life? Is there anything like that? Aloha,
Cameron
maybe.
Crowe films.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, do you know why Cameron Crowe's films and producer James L. Brooks' films don't usually talk about marriage?
Oh,
Because they both grew up with single parents. Because when I lived, it was weird when I knew about single parents because I lived in a very spoiled town, and most of the kids didn't have a single parent.
okay, okay. Well, no, no, no. What I'm saying is, I haven't studied his personal life, but I mean, I would think that so much of the first half of his life was documented in films and his work. What has he done in terms of the second half of his life about marriage and, more mature? Has that been covered in any of his work?
Was
Uh,
Cameron Crowe involved with a movie called Almost Famous? You said.
well,
Yeah.
almost famous is where I think he ends it. Like I think he ends like that's it. I mean, I can't name. I haven't seen a movie after that. Have you?
No,
I've,
no.
I, I've seen some of his
Well,
stuff, but I can't, after
Vanilla
Almost Famous, but
Sky.
they aren't as memorable.
Yeah, I mean Vanilla Sky. It's like, what is it? I don't even. I don't want to talk about that. No, I don't know. Warren, you talk
Um,
about. Warren,
Was
you pick a Cameron Crowe thing to talk about.
uh, so yeah, Kate Hudson. Do you think Almost Famous made Kate Hudson a star or more famous and almost Almost Famous?
well, before she was in Almost Famous, she was in a film called 200 Cigarettes, which was a group of 20 something friends. And then she was in Almost Famous. I knew before I watched it that she was going to be really good because she seemed like a really cool character.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another thing. That was wasn't that a I don't want to say that was a mid-range movie for budget, but that was DreamWorks, I think, wasn't it? So yeah, I mean, I think they were. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't it around the same time like Nick Hornby's stuff was coming out, like Music of My Mind, and
High
what else?
Fidelity came out the same year,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
was
exactly.
fun.
Exactly. So there was that encouragement of the atmosphere of these kind of movies coming out. Yeah, High Fidelity, exactly, exactly. So yeah, you
Uh-huh.
know your stuff. I put out Fever Pitch, the original, a long time ago with Colin Firth.
I'll tell you what's
Um,
weird. The new Fever Pitch, one of the kids, who was my friend, her dad was an extra in the remake.
oh, okay. And they was I didn't see the remake. It's baseball, right?
The Red Sox, which is very
Oh, okay,
emotional for me because it was hard for me when the Red Sox, growing up in Boston, weren't winning.
gotcha, gotcha.
So
um,
after Say Anything, Cameron Crowe does singles. You see my hair? I'm
Oh,
trying to look like Matt Dillon's character in Singles.
no, isn't there? What's the famous song in that? I want to say it's Ramones, but then Ramones is not from that vintage, right? So, or is he just playing an old Ramones '80s song and putting it in there? What's in that?
Touch Me, I'm Beep.
Yeah, something else that's on the trailer. I can't remember. Warren, do you remember? I don't know.
no,
Warren.
did Bridget Fonda co-star in them?
Bridget Fonda, who's on a roll by that time.
She did co-star in Single.
Yes, she did.
Oh, okay. Hmm. I don't know about the move
So,
the soundtrack.
so you obviously read the Fast Times book after you saw the movie, correct? Or
Yes,
did you
I
read? Yeah,
did.
yeah, 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 yeah. And so I mean, do you think he took? See, I think the book was written what 80? When was the book written?
81 and then
Right,
the movie was 82.
because his documentation on the music world was like, wasn't it late '70s? I want to say. So that's why he likes that stuff. So then when they made the movie, already there was a new type of music coming out. So I'm just wondering how much of that was affected in the transcription from script to the movie.
You
I'll
know
tell you
what?
what's interesting about singles. In the 90s, they made a lot of 20 something films. And two things about the 20 something films is that you had singles, Reality Bites, Don't Do It. They hang out at coffee
Yeah.
shops. And then Singles was popular, that the same studio that made Singles decided to make Living Single and Friends. And I'll tell you how Singles is different from the other 90s 20 something films is that Singles is one of the only four of those films, including 200 Cigarettes, Reality Bites, and Sleep With Me, that was funded by a major studio.
Oh yeah, yeah. Warner's did that. Yeah, yeah. And I don't think singles was that expensive also either. Yeah, but you don't see distribution too much of that movie. It's not readily available. I think it might be a music issue again. I'm not sure for like streaming and so forth. So I don't. What I generally like is like that it brings a pop culture and encapsulates it from its time and like I would not like I told you like just to like say anything taught me this song. Short Time taught me this song. Fast Times taught me about like I hadn't like it wasn't till like the third second I've seen it twice, 2.5 times. I didn't know that what's it called? She's gonna be somebody's only life, gonna shine. She's gonna be
Plastic
somebody's baby
Baby.
tonight. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I didn't know that was in the movie till I had seen it, like actually like seen it. So it's great that he was able to bring, just like Tarantino's able to bring stuff from the '60s back and '70s, that type of music. So you know.
Uh, Here's something interesting. The music that was in Singles, grunge music, started in 1987. I was born in 1987, and I think the film is kind of very dated. That's probably why you don't see it too well. I don't understand why was grunge kind of popular.
Wait, just because I like to go off on tangents more. Name a movie in 1987. We always play this game. Okay, so Jessica was born in '87. Name a movie in '87. I know what I'm gonna pick. Go ahead, you pick. Go.
Moonstruck.
Was it 87? That was 80 or was it 86? Warden, you pick.
The Untouchables.
Was it
What?
87? No, 88. Okay, I'm going to go with I'm going with the Living Daylights. James Bond. Go ahead. Sorry, Jessica, what are you saying?
So what was popular about grunge music?
Well, grunge, it's sort of, you're asking like what's popular about jazz music. So grunge came from, the Pacific Northwest, right? With like Nirvana and Cobain and stuff. And so it was just this whole. It wasn't just about the music; it was about the lifestyle. Rejecting certain things in life and um, disillusion with the way we've been treated, as a whole, and disappointment in life. Greed. Don't forget, this is when greed is at its peak. And then we're seeing the failures of greed in the stock market because Wall
I'll
Street's
tell you what's
88.
interesting. Campbell Scott in Family Ties, he plays a stockbroker, but in Singles, he plays the opposite of a stockbroker.
Oh, really? Okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay. So that's what I'm saying. It's all that thing. I even think like when was American Psycho written? Wasn't that written in late '80s or was that early
I think it was written in
'90s?
81.
Okay, so like you have that whole eight. They have that whole stock. So it evolves into like singles where basically people are kind of like slackers. I think. Well, yeah, yes, that's why. Well, slacker was '92, but I'm saying you have that sort of.
No, Slacker was 91.
Okay, so you have that genre of these slacker people where they're basically sort of giving up on the professional world. It leads into like a movie like Office Space, which is disillusionment with the corporate world, right? Which I love that movie, by the way. I love that movie. Uh, so you could say that Cameron he makes these very societal movies. So then when you see something like Vanilla Sky, what is that? But I could see
Based
that.
on
I think they could say
based
that
on
for all of my movies too. They would say, "What is that?" Would they? So-
based on that other Penelope Cruz called Open Your Eyes, right?
Yeah, but she was the
Yeah.
star of that. Could you, like, how do you, I don't know. I mean, could you do, I don't know. Oh, could you do?
Uh,
Could
I'll
you
tell
do?
you what I like about
Could you shoot Cuckoo's Nest twice and one in Spanish? Perform it twice? I don't know.
uh I'll tell you what I like about singles. Matt Dillon, he has a lot of charisma, and Bridget Fonda has charisma. This is around the time she showed her charisma in Shag, You Can't Hurry Love, Doc Hollywood. And nowadays, when you see a romance, the two leads don't show too much charisma. Those two show charisma, and also I like it when he says, "Janet, you rock my world." And nowadays, you would never have a guy say that to a girl.
Well, like I said, it's from that time period. It evolves from that sort of music scene, the people you meet. It's like sort of like the early Bohemians, like in San Francisco, and like it's like that. And so they have their own sort of, I don't want to say like secret handshakes, but their own lingo and phrases that you know. Maybe it doesn't last beyond a certain generation, because it's the popular thing of the time, and then now then it's not 10 years later, and then so I wonder how much of these references come back, like how many people really realize what they're watching, or saying, oh, hey, this is just like Friends, or I don't know. Well, they were even saying that because Friends is old now. Friends is like All in the Family, right? So
Did you ever see
Uh,
the Bridget Fonda movie called Point of No Return?
Point of no return.
oh, that's the Femme Nikita. Yeah, that was terrible.
Here's
Oh,
here's a problem I have with foreign American remakes of foreign films. They make completely no sense. The reason why I liked Shine Time Station, which was a American remake of a British show, Thomas the Tank Engine, is because I was too young to even know that. I just liked the kids hanging out on the station. I liked Mr. Conductor.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of foreign. Well, I mean, here the perfect example. Well, no, I'm not going to badmouth. There's a remake coming out, I think, next week. I'm not going to say what it is, but it's pretty disappointing. I'm not going to say what it is. And it's a remake of a foreign movie. But anyway, yeah, I mean, you are correct. Like, wasn't there an Old Boy remake? I want to say, and that was not good.
yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I don't, it's certain things are best stated within a culture, like, you know what I mean? Like, at least when Christopher Nolan does like Insomnia, at least I'm saying like in proximity, Christopher Nolan's lived in very cold environments, right? It's not like he's coming from this and he doesn't know what it's like to be a Finn or a Norwegian, right? Like living with it's all bright up there, right? For 24 hours at the peak, right? So but sometimes it just doesn't translate well. Like things about honor that are endemic to like an Asian movie or something, or French. You gotta. So, but La Femme Nikita could have been a good remake. It could have been because nothing specifically French. I mean, there wasn't anything specifically French about that movie. I mean, there was and there wasn't. Um, like I don't know if you saw his movie Subway, which was before La Femme Nikita. It's really good. Subway with Christopher Lambert from Highlander, and that movie's all set underneath the French metro. The French subway. Sorry, the French subway station. So like yeah, so then you get to be what's like in France because it's like this huge underground subway where people live, the bad guys, the good people, all that. And then so like that's like a French movie. Like you can't redo Subway here, like
Sounds like a
Um,
very interesting movie.
yeah.
well, Shine Time Station, even when uh I was like, why do they have trains? I wasn't used to trains. I still liked it because I really like Mr. Conductor. I like Stacy, and I liked the kids, and I liked their friendship.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, do you have an example of where a remake of a foreign movie really works?
Jungle to Jungle. Another reason is because I was a kid, I was less critical.
Warren, how about you?
none that I can think of. Although I heard that from my friend, one of my friends, that the U.S. remake of The Killer was actually good in a way, but I never saw it though.
Mm.
John Lewis, The Killer, yeah. My
Well,
friend liked it.
I'll tell you one. Maybe to say, but you were all thinking like, what's a good? You see, like you're thinking, what's a good America remake? But no, Yojimbo, the Japanese Kurosawa movie, was remade as A Fistful of Dollars with Clint Eastwood, and that's a good remake. So that's gone from Japan to Italy, right? And that's a good remake. So,
Oh,
if, in fact, it was so good that Kurosawa sued Leone over because he wasn't allowed to remake that movie. So,
you know if it's true that back to Fast Times? Is it true that at one time David Lynch was almost going to be the director of Fast Times at Ridgemont High, or is that not true?
Yes, it is. I've heard it, but a friend of a friend worked on David Lynch. I'll try to ask him about that.
which movie was that?
Uh, I have a friend who's friends with David Lynch's camera man, and I'll ask him if David Lynch was originally supposed to direct Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
Oh, okay. Well, let me say this: 82. I doubt that because well, let's see the book. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because David was supposed to do Revenge of the Jedi.
Wow.
Oh,
Well,
oh,
Yeah. So that was around 80. Well, they were shooting that in 82. So he was supposed to do, he dropped out of Revenge of the Jedi. So yeah.
well,
Um,
one of the actors who was in Stewart, whatever his name is, who was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, he produced, I think, The Elephant Man.
okay, nice, nice. Yeah. So that was yeah, so they I think Freddie Francis, who did the Hammer horror films, he shot Elephant Man, and then Lynch's regular guy became Fred Elms, who worked with John Cassavetes early on. Or was it Caleb Deschanel? I think Fred Elms also worked on Cassavetes stuff. So um well, what more do you want to wrap up on Cameron then?
How do we have left?
Just whenever you like. I like to go long. I mean, like I'm going to do some of these shows where we're just running for hours and calling
It
people, just
sounds
going in,
really cool.
and
I love talking.
I'm gonna have like a link, and when everybody wants to pop in, they can pop in. I'll be here, and we'll and our channel's collecting some fans, and we're so
okay.
but Warren and I like to talk about music a lot, which is why I was pitching you the idea of like those movies that have good songs at the end credits, and those songs were not written for that movie. Like, what was an example one? We said Living Daylights. And The License to Kill, which is If You Ask Me to, by Patti LaBelle, was not written for that film, but I could be wrong on that.
Here is uh something that you should talk about. Not best Miramax films, best Miramax scores.
I mean, do you have that CD right there? The Miramax Greatest Hits. Do you have that?
No, that would be really cool.
Yeah, they have it, but naturally, what's on it. It's like the piano is on it, The English Patient, Cinema
Well, there's
Parad.
Show a Gentleman I like, and it's similar to Sopranos. It has a different song in each episode.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It depends on how you involve. Like Miramax didn't produce like. I mean, they weren't as hands-on like on Pulp Fiction and like some of these other movies, English Patient. Like they approved the music. Or Harvey had his hands every step of the way in producing. But what was the other movie from the Evita? What's her name?
With
You know what I'm talking
Madonna.
about. Well, no, no, no. Who's the Mexican? Oh boy, Frida, the Frida movie, the Frida. Remember there was a Frida movie, Frida. Frida Kahlo.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so that one, he was really deeply involved to the music, to everything, and also Malena, and then the Italian movie Malena. I think there was a lot of choices about. I mean, they were bullies. They would say like, "Hey, you got to cut this out, this music, or you do it this way." Um, the artist clearly was French. I mean, I think a lot of that music was just,
Well,
it was up to the French.
if it wasn't for the Miramax films, Clerks and Pulp Fiction, it would inspire my Dazed and Confused like short because it was inspired by Dazed and Confused by him hanging out, and Clerks by being near a convenience store, and Pulp Fiction for pop culture references.
It's funny on Clerks. There used to be this market called the Independent Film Market in New York at the Angelica Film Center in New York, and I think just a little north of Soho. And this is where you like show your movies. Like if you made a movie on 16 or 35, you'd show it. And so Clerks was showing there, and I missed the screening. Nobody knew Kevin Smith, and so then I called his house, and his mom said he's working at the convenience store. So I called him at the convenience store. I said, "Hey, can I see your movie? And can I?" He said, "Yeah, yeah. How you doing?" And I heard the cash register, like he was pressing buttons, like checking someone out, like. So that's my clerk story, and no offense to Kevin though, because I'm sure it's a great film. I've never seen Clerks. I've never seen it.
You should see it. It's pretty funny. And
Yeah,
yeah, what?
I don't think I've seen any Kevin Smith movie. I haven't seen Jay and Silent Bob. I haven't seen. I don't. So.
Did Shannon Doherty co-star in Clerks, or was it some other movie?
Oh,
What do you say?
The Shannon Doherty, Kevin Smith movie was called.
Mallrats.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then there's another one that they just restored. They're putting out again. What's that called? It's called Dogma. Oh yeah,
Dogma.
Dogma. That's right, Dogma. Exactly, exactly. So, um, I'm not saying that they're bad movies. I'm sure. I mean, listen, there's a reason why people flock to them. I mean, he likes all the right things. I just was not a comic book. I'm not from the collectors scene, and he has his own scene he's from. Like I'm in my own scene, my asylum. So
What was I gonna say? It's amazing about singles how they have all those bands in the film, and they weren't big, and then later on they got big.
singles. Who's the one? I don't even know who's in that. Who's in that? I want to say like it's What I Like About You, but it's not in that movie, is it? It's not in that movie. So
Singles has Chris Cornell, Pearl Jam, a lot of bands I don't know about.
okay, 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 yeah. Well, like I mean, that's another thing is that it's unfortunate what happened to the music scene, how it obliterated musicians' ability to make good music. It's not so much about music. It's like now, how many fans do you have? Does it ascribe to what the people want? Can you perform well and do this technique? It's not really about the music anymore. Like at that time, it was about the music.
Like,
Um,
here's how I describe Kevin Smith, Cameron Crowe, and Quentin Tarantino. Quentin Tarantino is one of those guys who loves films so much that he gets people interested in films. Kevin Smith loves comic books so much that he gets people interested in comic books. Uh,
right.
Cameron Crowe loves music so much that he gets people interested in music. And after watching his Warm, Comfort, and Charm and Heartbreakers Beach Party, he got me more interested in music. And when you see him and he's drives a limo with Tom Petty, he gets to go in a limo with Tom Petty, and it's like, oh, I want to hang out in a limo with Tom Petty. I want to hang out with a star and be a singer and be as sweet as possible.
Yeah, I mean that's the day when people were accessible. Now it's like everybody's got a manager, another manager, another manager, and a lot of times they're not really performing their talent. Like the guys in the '70s were really performing it. They were doing, like it's like I don't even know. I'm not really supposed to take sides on these kind of things, but like what the heck is K-pop? Why is that so popular? I don't have a clue, but yet it's the biggest thing, and
Because
yet
of dancing, choreography, I don't know.
don't ask me. I don't know. I like
No,
Mozart. I like Philip Glass. I like Brian Eno. Okay, so
no, okay.
Uh,
um, Well, you take okay. So just you take 3 minutes, whatever you want to say, anything, and then we'll go to the crosstalk section now. So you come up anything 3 minutes you want to say, we'll crosstalk. Then I'll
No,
say
but I still
something.
want to talk. I want to let's
Okay.
mention. I just want to say some other stuff about singles. I want to be here as long as possible. Is that okay?
Yeah. Although Jamie is, I gotta meet. Jamie's gonna be coming by. I have to meet him in about an hour or so. So yeah, so good.
So I can still talk.
Yeah. And I'll edit these parts up. Yeah. Keep
So I like the redhead girl who was in Singles.
That was who? I don't know who that was. I really, who was that since you like her?
She was just very perky.
Okay.
And let's get
Okay.
to show me the money.
Which you guys are gonna have to talk about because I haven't seen that.
I also did not see Single. I just never maybe YouTube.
No. She's talking about Jerry Maguire. I haven't seen that. So
Oh, sure. I didn't see that too. No.
I'll tell you why it's good. It's about sports, and I love sports movie, and also it's a romance, and I like the friendship between Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. They were just great friends, and Cuba Gooding Jr. was so over the top.
Yeah, that's sort of, but I think you can still personify himself in the Tom Cruise character. It goes, but then afterwards, how the movies, do they become personal or less personal? What, like you can tell anything up to Almost Famous is in his heart.
Yeah,
Uh,
the Almost Famous. Now since you don't have that much to say about Jerry Maguire, let's talk about Almost Famous. It's my favorite of his films, the first one I ever saw, and when I first heard about it, I couldn't believe it was a true story.
I remember I didn't see the whole movie, but I think there's the scene where some of the characters sing that Elton John song, like Tiny Dancing, right?
Yeah, Tiny Dancer. I love that scene.
oh, okay. Well, I'm sure the rights weren't cheap for that. So yeah.
And Kate Hudson had a lot of charisma in Almost Famous.
Well, who would you say is a contemporary of Cameron Crowe then? So like who's a companion film director, would you
Well,
say?
he's just a new one, but the guy who made that short film for Bubba Rock, he's going to be the next Cameron Crowe. There's Spielberg and Quentin Tarantino have contemporaries. Cameron Crowe doesn't because they don't make those kind of movies anymore. My guess is that there's a film called Home Again that was very heartfelt, and the director made another film which I haven't seen that also seems heartfelt. She might be the next one.
But I mean there isn't. Well, let me think. I mean, they would have. Let's see. 20s. I mean, yeah. I don't know people doing his type of thing. Relationships. From that era. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think Kevin Smith. No, Kevin Smith is younger, much younger than him. So maybe
Richard
maybe Wes Anderson. Maybe Wes
Ri-
Anderson.
Richard
Maybe.
Linklater.
Who? Oh, Richard
Richard Lin-
Linklater. Yeah, Richard Linklater. Definitely,
Maybe,
definitely.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. They're all kind of from that area, from that area. But you guys are good at that. I'm, I like my, giallo Italian films. No, I don't know. I don't know why I like.
Scarlett
Yeah,
Gensel.
yeah, yeah. I just like go off on tangents and stuff. So, you never know. I like everything. I don't seek things out, but I seek things. But what I do seek, it leads to other things, like even just like rediscovering Brainstorm. I don't know if you ever saw that movie, but Christopher Walken is fantastic in that movie. And then I was positing the question: if Brainstorm never existed, would Interception exist? Not interesting. Inception. Would Inception exist? Like, and I don't think it could because they're they're 30 years apart from each other, but they're very much thematically related.
But if Fast Times didn't exist, Days of Confused couldn't exist, and my terrible film Hots and Jocks couldn't exist. And in Almost Famous,
Yes,
I just want to tell you, Kate Hudson has a lot of charisma. Do you agree that she has charisma?
she's good. She's
Yeah.
good. Um, yeah, yeah. But I'm trying to think when does the category end? Because you even have like even the smaller companies like Canon did Last American Virgin, and I consider that in the same kind of class. And then don't forget like Secret Admirer. These are all stuff that follow in that same period. Well, earlier My Tutor, right? We already said Private Lessons. All the stuff that leads up to like late 80s then. Um, and then they stopped because there was no like Canon Films doing like another Say Anything movie. There wasn't, but so uh
Canon Films made too many movies.
do you see my shirt?
Yeah, that's cool. I like their logo.
What is your favorite Canon? I could go on for hours about Canon, by the way, but if we want, that's
Invaders
another
from
show.
Mars.
Yeah.
I
Oh
love
yeah.
it, and I love
Oh
Lorraine
yeah.
Newman.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, my favorite is because they produced Love Streams, the final movie from John Cassavetes.
That's very different from your typical Canon film.
It was, but they were trying to be like Miramax. Well, Miramax was emulating, well, whether they knew it or not, they were doing that worse. So Canon was doing art movies and action. So like Missing in Action with Chuck Norris was shot the same year as like Love Streams, and The Runaway Train was shot the same year as like Death Wish 4. Like so. So there was that. But Miramax had Dimension, so Scream the same year as English Patient or whatever it was. So uh, everybody's got to do that. I mean, we do it too. I did it because my movies are so polarizing that I had to get people like Jamie and Rich and Louie and Gino and everybody to make mainstream movies because my movies are so polarizing.
They aren't polarizing enough to be made by tech companies. There are a lot of your Christmas films are not the most polarizing Christmas films.
Okay. Well, I think you made a comment like a shit miss movies. You said I hadn't heard of that, and then I realized that is a real genre, and that deserves its own episode. Just talking about these shit mid movies.
Um,
Well, then, Warren, you got 2 minutes. You say you talk about stuff that will evolve. Yeah, well,
Did you say that it was kind of exciting when Carol Burnett's daughter, Terry Hamilton, appeared at your high school? Or what?
oh yeah, for Tokyo Pop. Yeah. Well, she was also did a talk about addiction at my high school, but I don't know if you saw Tokyo Pop. It's from Fran Kazooie, who produced Buffy, the Buffy
interesting.
show.
Different.
Yeah, so she made a movie called Tokyo Pop in 87, and Carrie Hamilton, who's Carol Burnett's daughter, was the star of that movie, and she came to my school and started talking about addiction and being hospitalized, and um, but she sings basically what we're talking about. Like she's at the end of the movie, she sings this song. It's a really good song.
Yeah, that's a good movie.
Yeah, it's too bad that movie's rarely seen. It's a really good. I like that movie a lot. I mean,
I
naturally.
couldn't get to it. It didn't make too much sense, but she was good in the film Shag.
Oh, I know the movie. I didn't see that Shag. I didn't see Shag. Yeah. Oh, Warren, we're talking about Aloha Summer, right? That's with Chris Makepeace from My Bodyguard. That was like 86, right?
I was really disappointed in it because it had this charming lady who was in Teen Wolf.
Okay.
But get Carrera.
Let's see. I haven't seen Aloha Summer, so yeah.
Yeah, I didn't see Omaha, so I just read some information about it. I read
Yeah.
that kind of hard to find, or I don't know, might be available on streaming. I don't know.
Yeah, that was who did that company? Was that like Columbia Triumph or something? So there was all the like those smaller kind of movies at that time that they were trying to take advantage of the youth market. So Aloha Summer. I even think Karate Kid fills that slot in like 85, 84 to
That was a good
86.
movie.
Yeah, I think it fills that need, and then everybody starts to get older. And then do you notice that like St. Elmo's is like 85, 84,
Yeah.
85, and then the
Right.
brother's movie called Vital Signs about these people going to college. It's got John Gallagher, Peter Gallagher, and I think Laura San Giacomo. I think, and
Not
they're like
Pete. Peter Gallagher has Diane Lane, Morrison.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Well, yeah.
But there's one scene that was a little bit too much for me, and I can't reveal anything, and I turned it off.
Yeah, no, so that movie's called Vital Signs, right? Or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. So then so then you start seeing these kind of movies about, like, let's say late 20-year-olds. What are they going to do in life? And then they become slackers and singles, or like, or they become slackers and slacker, right? So yeah.
In Almost Famous, I like the kid's friendship with the rockers. And when I saw this movie as a teenager, I was really jealous of a kid that he got to hang on the road with those rockers, and I had to do my boring homework.
No.
And Jason Lee and Billy Crudup did a good job in Almost Famous.
Billy Crudup, and yeah, around that time he was going to they were saying he was the next biggest thing. I think, what was that movie where he's a runner? And that's another thing. They made two running movies the same year. Remember? You know what I'm talking about? Like, he's a
Without
marathon run.
Limits, I've heard of it. I don't know too much about
Yeah,
it, and
and
I just
they made two running movies, two marathon movies that same year. Like, I don't understand, like, who comes up with these ideas. Like, okay, yeah, I'm doing a running movie. Okay, well, I'm gonna do one. Like, I guess they're doing two salsa movies. Remember the two salsa movies that came out? The Lambada. Remember Lambada,
I
Lambada?
describe those movies what they look like. They're the most amateurish films ever made by a major studio.
Wait, talking about the Lambada movies or Breakin'?
The Lombada movies.
Okay, because there also was Breakin'. Yeah, Breakin' 1 and 2, and
I
Breaking
don't
was good.
understand breakdancing. What's the whole point of breakdancing?
well, Michael Jackson. See, then you're talking something that lasted. I don't know when that lasted, how long they stopped breaking dancing, but I mean, around that time, Michael Jackson's,
Moonwalk.
yeah, I mean, all that, and stuff lasted longer. It wasn't like, oh, I've seen it. What's the next thing? Like, it took like 6 months for it to catch on. Now, like, it takes 6 minutes, and now, okay, what's next? That's what I don't like about this. So I'm gonna just, like, and the way people consume their data. So, like, if I do 6 hours of these recordings every day, they're just going to consume and eat it up quickly. And what do I do next? And need another 10 hours. No, that's how they digest stuff. It's like, it's crazy.
Billy Crudup was good in Inventive Abbots, but was very disappointed in that film.
Who's the guy that did that? Oh God, the people are gonna kill me for not knowing these things. Who's the guy that did that? Lily Tomlin, the Meet the Fockers.
Ben Stiller.
Yeah, I mean, but who's the director?
Jay Roach, I like him.
Jay Rush should beat the fucking. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry. What's the other one? What I'm talking about? Dustin Hoffman and Lily Tomlin. Why am I
I
getting?
Heart Huckabees.
Yeah. Who did? Yeah, that's Wes Anderson, right?
No, David O. Russell.
That's right, Russell. That's right. That's right. So yeah. So he's got a nice feel on, on stuff too, that he captured in sort of that sort of late '90s.
Burden with Disaster was funny.
That was good. That was a good one. That was a good one. And then Spanking the Monkey, that's actually different for his turn, the way his recent movies, but because that's a very dark movie. But
That sounds like
uh
it was an independent movie.
yeah, it was that was like 990. It was like 94,
I
93,
haven't
92.
seen it. It seems I'm okay with dark comedies. A lot of people don't like dark comedies, but that looks a little too dark.
It was I think it came out the same year as Chuck and Buck, and Chuck and Buck was sort of like, you know, I mean, it's like these are like time capsules. So somebody wants to know, like, what was it like in the '90s before this happened? What was it like before pre 9/11? What happened? And it's a good document of society. Like, because if you watch like Solaris, well, I'm talking about the Russian Solaris. What is that? It's not really a document of it. I mean, it is a document of its time, but on screen, it's not depicting visually. Like, it was more like subliminally he was talking about the cold torment of what was going on in Russia, the USSR actually at that time. But where something singles directly, like, okay, you're shooting at this coffee shop. This is happening as it is now. This is what's going on. So
Also, here's something interesting about Almost Famous. The Billy Crudup role and the Kate Hudson role, two actors dropped out of a role.
Oh, who was up for originally?
Would the actors want me to tell them? Would the actors want to know that they were up for it originally?
Yeah, yeah.
Sarah Polley, who was on a show I like called Ramona. And I showed
Okay.
you
Oh, Sarah Polly. Okay.
the episode of Ramona where she was cooking a meal, which was pretty funny, and she was pretty good for a young girl. And I saw that boring show she was on called Avonlea, and I didn't like what she was good in that. And she was charming in Guinevere. I couldn't get into it. She was up for the role, and then she decided she didn't want to do it. And Brad Pitt was up for Billy Crudup's role, and he then later decided he didn't want to do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what happened. Well, I don't know what the movie was that triggered like, okay, he's not going to be launched. Like I'm talking about Billy. I don't know. I don't know. He's very good very good actor. Just some people click, some people don't. I mean, you know. I mean, I think Jim Caviezel should be a lot further than he has. I mean, I'm not that he isn't for, but I mean, I think he's a really fine actor as
I liked
well.
his movie. He had a small role, and I don't remember him, called Ed.
Yeah, yeah.
That was before Airbud and Monkey was playing sports.
So I want to ask you something. Like, you know a lot about like these B. I don't want to say B, but like these movies from like B distributors from the '80s. So like, did you say that? So like, how like was there a video store that was around you that you had access to all that? These these smaller, lower budgeted movies.
Which ones are you talking about?
Well, let's go back even like how do you like Whale of a Tale, like that movie has been seen by maybe 10 people, and I don't know how you
Because uh because I showed you my picture of Free Willy, and then we talked about it, and there was an episode of a Little Mermaid series called Whale of a Tale. So since they have the same title, I know about it. Like there's a William Shatner film called Crash. I only know about it because there are two other Crash films I know about.
That's
And
another
I'm
thing
an
we'll get
expert
into.
on low budget mainstream films. So if you want to ask me a question about a low budget mainstream film, ask me. Go away, Mom.
What what is low budget? Like under $10 million or
I don't like to think of a budget, but I usually like to say not from a major studios.
okay, so give me the name of the song that appears on the end credits of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 release.
I don't know that.
9.95. I know it because it was the first movie I worked when I was at AMC as an usher. They hired me and said, "Hey, go clean popcorn now," and that song was playing at the end of Ninja Turtles. So
Uh,
it's
by the
a good.
way, I have a few stuff for 5 minutes that I'm gonna say for the fans and for Cameron Crowe. Dear Cameron, I hope you are listening to the podcast. I just want to tell you, I saw you in Pearl Jam 20. I know you were hardly in it, just 4 scenes of you talking about singles and 5 scenes when you were on camera interviewing them. I would do anything to see a version of Pearl Jam 20 that's outtakes of you on camera, just outtakes of you on camera interviewing Pearl Jam. And because of that, I wore a black shirt and you were wearing a black shirt. And also, Cameron, I would like to do anything. You're the only person I would do this with is make a hosted nonfiction film about rock and roll and what people like about rock and roll with you. And I could do anything to be in one of your movies because of your sweet, warm charm in Heartbreakers Beach Party, especially when you were telling Tom Petty that stars need privacy. Even if a film is bad, I would love to do it. I can, and by the way, I'd even want to edit a version of Pearl Jam 20 with you just on camera interviewing the Pearl Jam people, and we'll get more people to be interested in your movies, more people to audition for your movies. more people will be interested in watching singles because of that, and singles is going to be more likely to be seen more because of that. And even people who are not Pearl Jam fans, they'll like it. And also, I have a business email for all those, not for Cameron, but for other people. It's joleestar87@gmail.com. And you can ask me what you think of Cameron Crowe films, which actors he should work with, what kind of movies you think he should do, and who should host. If we ever do it, a nonfiction film we do about rock music. And by the way, more actors would want to do it than appear in Minecraft 2. And I also, if you really want to see the version of Pearl Jam 20 that I want to see, I'll let you know how you can contact Cameron Crowe or his website, theuncool.com. Thank you so much. What do you think of my final words before we go?
Very good.
What?
That was okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
What?
Oh well, what was Warren saying? Warren's gonna say no. Oh,
That's
no,
it.
no. I was saying that was perfectly done. But that was a good warm it. Do it one more time. He's just kidding.
I forgot what I said, so I don't want to say. What do you have to say, Warren?
I said it's very good.
What do you say?
Very, very good.
Thanks,
He
and
said it was very good. Yeah.
and can I leave now?
Warren, can you leave? She's asking, can you leave?
Yes,
And she.
yes. Yes, if you want.
Okay.
What?
Yes, if
Am
you
I-
want. Yes, yes. Yes.
Yes? I'm
Yes.
leaving?
Okay,
If
you
you
can
want.
leave until next time and think of the subject. We'll each get a different subject. We'll talk about it, but I'm here all the time, and for punching in, we're gonna,
Certain times I might want to be the guest co-host, not forever, but I really would one
Sure.
day want to be the co-host and try to get Cameron Crowe on to talk about his upcoming book.
Yeah, you could do
Wow.
it when I go get
Wow.
when I go get, you definitely should. You'd be great. I mean, yeah. So that was well said, and hope you're hearing this. It's gonna come out. It's in the universe, So yeah. Okie dokie. Well, we'll talk more. We'll talk more about Cameron Crowe next time on the next
next
episode, won't we? No,
I
no,
to talk about. I'll worry about that later. Bye.
Okay.
Honestly, just anything. We'll talk about anything and everywhere. Okay, you're great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Bye.
Good
Bye. Yes.
night. Good
Good night.
night.
Good night.
Bye.